off. Are you following? Yeah, you're now following. But yeah, I usually, I'll run Farm Sim 19 for a period past the game release, partly to get things settled in, and partly to find something, get the what's it? The mods that make things easier to play, and the mods, some mod maps that inspire me. But we do run the series for a long, long time. Obviously, this year we don't know when the next Farm Sim release is expected. But I need some variation. I'm feeling that this series is kind of becoming a little bit stagnant. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive down the road and see. It's going to snow till close to midnight. But anyway, sugar beet sales. So estimation on this load might get us to 949 as a guess. But always the challenge is finding a farm that not a lot of other people are playing. And obviously, as you reach the end of the season, nobody's playing Farm Sim 19, or very few people are playing Farm Sim 19. And even, 10 months ago, nobody was playing Oakfield Farm on a stream or on a YouTube. They kind of moved on. And we are leaving everybody behind, yay. I guess we'll have to slow down and let them catch up, because I need to like to have them a little bit closer to the yard before we tell them to park it. I kind of had that issue. 17, I was still playing on a computer that was about 5 years old. And part of the problem I had was I was playing Lawfolds, which has a lot of, you look in those sheds and there's a lot of bits in there. Lawfolds was incredibly overpopulated with farmyard junk. Every yard had a workshop, and every workshop had all the things. You had a good 40, 50 pieces of decoration in each and every workshop. And it did mean when I was driving towards the farm, I kind of had to angle the camera down so I didn't lag out on that PC. Now, eventually, obviously, I bought a brand new PC, and oh my goodness, did that make a difference. Now, that PC is still this PC. So this, the PC I bought, what are we talking, 5-6 years ago almost, is capable of running Farm Sim 22. I fully expect it to be able to run the next version of the game when that comes out. But, we stopped a little way down the road. But we're good enough. But yeah, I can understand, some PCs just can't play the game. Okay, you can stop off there, and we'll take this one into the yard, say 11:30. I'm losing track of how many, good grief, stop. how many runs we've made now. How are we doing with sugar beets in the farm? 480,000. So at least 3 more trips. And maybe a partial. And it's another 8,000. 55. Okay. Re-estimating, we're going to be just over 955,000 once the truck empties. I'll just park that in the hedge because I can drive through hedges on this map unless I'm carrying bales or pallets. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. I mean, in the past I've done the whole let's just upgrade the computer. But it really sometimes it gets to the point where an upgrade, it's just cheaper to buy a new one. But then how much do you want to spend on it? Because obviously, if you pay 2,000 for a new computer, it's gonna last you a lot of years if all you're playing is Farming Simulator. But if you're playing first-person shooters, then a 2,000 PC is probably not going to last you much more than a year.
Can't oven food.
What?
Can't oven food.
And we are 9:55. Okay, what's the price of sugar beets now? We are still 280. I really don't. Oh, that would be horrible. Having to do a dozen runs up to Hilltop Stores again. So kind of happy that. Well, I would actually prefer Willowbrook Stores to be the best price at the moment, but to be fair, this one is just about doable. There's a little bit of messing around. Okay. So, who wants to go first? Let us take the Black Axion. We've had this. This was the very first tractor we had on the farm. And the part of the deal is that this is the newest one. Part of the deal with the 940 is I needed a huge tractor. Not for huge equipment. I mean, we're running in some instances 9 to 12 meter equipment on this farm, which is not huge, but it's kind of big. And you need something this big to work that equipment up the hills on this farm. Now, looking at some of the maps, Calmsden has some horrible hills that would benefit from almost 400 horsepower, even for a small grain cart, 25,000-30,000. But even then, I'm not sure these big tractors do like those hills. They still get bogged down. Anyway, we're all heading back, so that's good. We've tried to refill the truck twice. I guess I could pull out the what is it? The Thunder Creek trailer and try that on the truck. But I haven't. Yeah, I think we've got enough diesel in the truck to do this a few more times. As I said, 3 more trips. It's going to push us past midday. That much is certain. Oh, dude. And then finally we've got a ton of sunflowers to ship. Yeah, I'm going to go down to the sawmill. But we've sold the rye, we've sold the canola. We started out today with, what was it, about 340,000? So we've already made $500,000. Which I guess isn't too shabby. And by spring we'd have, I think, wool sales of about 200,000, sheep sales of about 300,000-400,000. Yeah, I mean this farm is just making money like crazy, so we make the turn. Not sure everybody else is going to. I guess it depends what sort of speed they come blasting through the yard. Okay, 480, 350 should put us down to 350. Price is still good and climbing. It's not bad. Sunflowers is our last crop. We got 200,000. That's 2 full trips. And currently the best price is, oh goodness, Hilltop Stores. That's so nice. Yeah, we didn't make the turn. Where's the truck? The truck seems to have done okay. And we didn't play with cows or pigs on this one. I do kind of think if ever I came back to this map, which kind of unlikely, I'd probably do a Oak Glen farm map rather than an Oakfield farm map. It's a little bit more convenient to the store. The farm itself is a little bit smaller. But you've got the pigs and the chickens down there, which is just something different. Okay. And this is the penance for doing sugar beets, of course. Hugely manual intensive job, from harvesting, planting ain't too bad, but the whole harvesting and all the rest of it. Harvesting, carting, it's just a pain. Planting, because it uses a standard row crop planter that you plant corn or sunflowers with. There's some big ones. Potatoes is just horrible for everything. The seeders aren't big, the harvester's not big, the harvest is huge, and so carting is just major pain. I think the same with sugar cane. It's not exactly an awesome crop to plant, harvest, cart. Plus they have, sugar beets has a reasonable entry level. We ran sugar beets every year on this farm. And we started out with the tractor hauled harvesting equipment, which isn't 100% painful. It's not fun, but it's because sugar beets aren't necessarily what I call fun. Potatoes and tractor hauled harvesting equipment is just horrible. But once you get up to the self-propelled stuff for all of that, the problem is you're talking 500,000 entry for getting the harvester and getting everything else. Same with cotton. Cotton, really nice product, but oh my goodness, my harvester's going to cost me 500,000. If I want to do wheat or sunflowers, I can get a harvester for 100,000. If I'm lucky, I can get a used one for less than that. But yeah, it's a sort of it's something you can grow the farm with when you're doing cereals, and it's not when you're doing the specialist crops. Yeah, starting from scratch and doing a cotton farm, it's not going to happen. You've got 500,000 starting money, and it's going to cost you that just to get the harvester. Then you need the fields. And with things like cotton, you need a good size field. Because those bales won't. You're going to lose something in the cotton harvester. So renting a harvester is going to leave potentially a lot of stuff in the harvester once the harvest is done. So instead of getting 2.5 bales or 2.25 bales, you get 2. At least with things like grapes and olives and sugar cane, you can unload a partial full harvester. Stop. I was going to say I was going to change the unload mechanism for that, and I still haven't. Okay, so what are we looking at? About 1 million at the end of this trip, I think. I guess we'll see once everything's unloaded. But, let's turn that on, and where's the unload button? Follow me behind, unfold tipper, unload here. Fruit types, no. Tip side, there we go. Button 13. Grain door. Tip side back. There we go. That'll work. Much better. It's when I'm carting from the field I have to use the grain door because this tipper tips too high for our farm silo. Okay, turn that off now. But coming here, Hilltop Stores, even Willowdale is kind of okay. Now, the other thing I'm looking at in Farm Sim 22, if I do end up playing with a UK map, I will be loading the UK crop calendar, I think they call it these days. What in Farm Sim 19 was called a geo, which is sort of a geographical weather map. So you get weather that's generally typical for the area of the map you're playing. This map has, because it's one of the things that the farming agency did, was they did install a geo specific to the area of Britain that this farm is based at. Now you can easily add geos for other places in Farm Sim 19 and Farm Sim 17. Farm Sim 22 not quite so easy. You basically you have to load the crop or the weather calendar, crop calendar, whatever you want to call it, and then you have to manually modify the map files, which then means that your map is always going to say, oh, it's not the latest version on the mod hub. When you compare it, it's always going to want to update to not having the weather map that you loaded, which is unfortunate. Calmsden, you don't have that problem because obviously they've actually embedded the crop calendar into Calmsden, or Oxygen David did. But I do have a problem with Calmsden in that I have to down it when you do the tab from this view to this view. There is a good 5-second delay before the new view renders, and the whole screen freezes while it's rendering the new view. When I tried Calmsden before, the latest patch, I did find that adding the high definition texture pack, which again is something you have to do manually, actually eliminated that problem. So I do need to download that high texture pack again, which means it's a little difficult to run it as a multiplayer if I ever wanted to, because I'm not running the right version compared with the mod hub. And again, the mod hub's always going to complain that, oh, you need to update the map. No, I don't. Please, not at all. Okay, I think right now... Oh, come on, reverse already. Of course, I could have gone truck first and had the tractors follow me. That'll do. I need to take a very quick break. I will be back. Okay, sorry about that. We are back. We are ready to go. Let's go. Stick the truck in drive. So yeah, one of the things I've got to do sometime, hopefully the sun's come up now. The grass might dry out a bit. Because one of the things that needs to happen is I seriously pruned a bush a couple of weeks ago, and I've ended up with our lawn tractor's trailer is full of sort of cuttings from that, which I need to burn. So maybe I'll have a chance to do that later today. No idea why that happened, but you are following, so we are good. Let's go jump in the 940 and get this convoy on the road again. How many more? 2 more trips, and that should leave us with about 80,000 litres still at the farm. I could run the Bailey once, but for the most part I think we are probably done moving stuff. Still at 280. Whoops, let's drive on the neighbour's field. Never a good plan. Why isn't the truck following us? What happened to the truck? Oh, good job, man. That's the thing. The worker does have issues with this truck. I have problems with the truck sometimes, so it's not the easiest thing to drive. But dude, you just had to drive down the road. You did not have to drive into the fence. Fortunately, at this point, the power poles along the telephone line along the side of the road is just a picture. It's not an in-game object that you can drive into, so don't have to worry about the helper driving into that. I do have to worry about the street signs at the end of this road, because those are hard obstacles, and the bus stop. Alrighty, so I suppose I could bump us up to ×5. We've got 2 more runs to make, and it takes about 10 minutes a run, maybe a little more. That would burn off 2 hours. That would put us about 4 o'clock in the evening by the time we got back from the second trip. And we'll be ready to sleep, wake up, feed sheep 6, 7, 3 times. 4 times, I don't know. Sometimes. And then it'll be time to sell sunflowers. And he is having traction issues. Now we're running wide tyres with weights on this, primarily because this is the tractor we use for ploughing, cultivating and seeding, which are our heaviest pieces of equipment. So it does, you do have issues hauling that size of equipment, especially if the ground is a little bit damp. So the added weight and sort of surface area of rubber on the ground does overcome the traction issues that you can have in those situations. I mean, there's so much so we've even got a weight on the front of this tractor so that, you know, maximum traction possible. Okay, that takes us to 315.